Hello and welcome to another Primo Calcio cast. Today we're going to be doing a transfer rumor roundup, first one of these, and many more to come. I am Michael here with Anthony. How you doing?
Oh, so good. So many hot rumors. So much news.
Many rumors. I
Yeah.
say we go team by team, break down kind of who
Yeah,
all the
sure.
links are and all the big names. So first, let's go with Roma.
It's all about Dybala.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're going to re-sign him, but he's on a free at the end of the year. His contract's up, and he has a 15 million release clause. I am shocked that a team that desperately needs him, like Juventus, wouldn't want to go after him. But we don't want to admit mistakes. Getting rid of the guy. We should never have done that in the first place. But
I think a lot of teams in Serie A could use him. I know that Milan could use a classy attacker.
yeah,
Napoli could probably even use them. Maybe less so because he's not like a very hard worker, I guess. But Napoli could probably, I'm sure, use them.
I mean,
Roma
anybody can
definitely
use him.
should keep him.
He's
Yep.
got some of the most class in this entire league, and that stuff doesn't go away as you get older. I mean, with his play style, I mean, he could be effective till 36, 37. As long as he stays
Yeah,
off the
he'll
injury
he'll
list.
definitely have at least a couple more good years. Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't need him as your key player game in game out, I think he'd be a great signing for anybody. But I think personally, I'd like to see him stay at Roma and build from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have him at Juve, but we have other plans. We're just basically just a fourth place team now, so we don't want players like that. But I think
Yeah,
that Roma might. I mean, I think their roster's good. I think now that they got the coach in there, what Ranieri's 4-1 in the past five games. So,
yeah.
I just think they got to get rid of some of these crusty guys that have been here for too long. Probably cancers in the locker room. I think we all know who they
Yeah,
are because they're not playing.
there's a couple more links. I mean, with them too. So Pellegrini is one that may be on the way out. I think Napoli has been linked with
Yep.
him, and I think there's one more team, right? I'm not sure who it is.
I don't know who it is.
Is it
Yeah.
Atalanta? I know it's
Mm,
Napoli and somebody else,
I don't think so.
but I couldn't remember. I'll look it up here. But what do you think about Pellegrini possibly leaving? Think it's a good idea, bad idea?
I mean, if he's not playing, I don't think Pellegrini was ever that good. He has his moments. He's super streaky. Like, he'll play a couple really good games back to back and then he'll vanish for five. And just when you start thinking the guy sucks, he goes out and has a big game and you're like, well, you probably want to keep him. And then he lays, a couple more turds shortly after that. So I don't know. For me, a guy like that, if I'm Roma, I need to make some money
Very
for some
inconsistent
reason. Yeah,
always.
I just get rid of the guy. I mean, you have plenty of talent in the system right now. I think they have an excellent roster. It just needs to get sorted. It's very hodgepodgey. There's a lot of players that don't fit the systems that they run, and yeah, they weren't purchased with any intent. And now that Ranieri's there, and after this season he's done coaching, he's going to be up in the front office sorting all that stuff out. So I think he wants to get things pretty much under wraps and establish a system, and that's just going to help Roma out a ton.
The other team was Fiorentina actually with a link with, but
Okay.
Napoli seems more likely because Raspadori is kind of the bargaining chip that they're using a lot at Napoli, and we'll kind of get to that when we talk about Juve as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like possibly Raspadori for Pellegrini.
Well, Napoli's got a lot of bargaining chip. They have a few because like Folorunsho's not playing. They got a couple defenders that aren't playing. I mean, Mazzocchi and Spinazzola won't be worth much, but yeah, Spinazzola ended up not being able to overcome that injury. I guess he's just not the same. Bummer because
That's
I
too
really
bad
liked
because I,
him.
I really like that guy. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a good player, ton of pace, and pretty crafty too.
yeah, he's just definitely not the same. I mean, if there was a way to get him on, I mean, Conte bought him with the intent of playing a three-man back line, and when he realized that Mazzocchi and Spinazzola just couldn't hack it, he had to switch.
Yeah, I had to pivot.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, I don't know. Atalanta's. I haven't heard too much what they're doing. I've seen them linked with Cherky, and I've seen them linked with Berardi, but eh.
yeah, there's not much I know with that. There's one last one I'll do from Roma that will kind of also bleed into Milan that we talk about Milan is Cristante. So looking like on the possible swap with Saelemaekers for Cristante. I get it positionally because Milan still needs like a lockdown D mid, somebody who can stay home and is positionally sound, which Cristante is. He's just not a very good player. I don't think he's going to rise the level of play at Milan at all. I think he's a good, solid, decent Serie A player, but that's kind of where it tops out. So if you want to keep your level at Milan, which is kind of like good but not great, sure he'd be fine, but he's not going to rise your level. So I don't think it's a good move personally. Roma, of course, wants to keep Saelemaekers, and I think Saelemaekers has a lot more potential. He's versatile, works hard. He's been playing very, very well recently as well. So I think that that's a much better deal for Roma if they get Saelemaekers for Cristante.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a huge win for Roma. I think that you know, it'd be a horrible move in general just to pick up Cristante. You don't need a depth guy. You have, you're linked with guys like Frendrup, which is a much better decision. And then he either relegates someone to the bench or you change the formation finally. I think they're going to go with Frendrup or Ricci's been linked with Milan. I think one of those two guys are a much better choice than Cristante.
yeah, I agree. I think I would like to see Ricci because he can dictate play a lot more and just kind of sit back. So hopefully, if Milan does get them, they actually put him in his right role and puts him at the very back, so he can just be a true deep lying regista and not play on the right side of a center mid like he is at Torino. And then you have Zapata or not Zapata, Fofana and Reinders playing with him, which would be very solid.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
a nice midfield.
Couple other links. Zappa is linked with Milan. Lucca is linked with Milan as well, and Frendrup, of course.
Yeah. Well, there's also some Valencia striker, like Moquera or something, that's linked with Milan.
Yes, he Argentinian maybe.
Parisi. Uh, no, I think he's Colombian. Parisi as well. So look at Milan and linked with some Italians. Maybe they're seeing the
They're
error
not.
of
They
their
don't buy him
ways.
though.
No, they're gonna buy some
No, they're
foreign guy.
they're linked. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
honestly, it's a good time to get Ricci. I think that would be a good.
yeah.
If you're looking for value, Luca I think is great value because he's young. He's showing some signs right now. I don't think he's ever going to be a great striker, but I mean, he's a target man, and Milan could use it. And you never know, he could become decent. He's a guy who could be a backup right now or could start. So I think that it's worth a shot. He's not going to be pricey. They're also linked with Randall Colomuani, who they were linked with years ago, but he kind of came out on fire initially, but he has had an issue scoring of late. So I don't know if that's the call to go with another guy who's struggling to score. I would prefer Luca
Eh,
there personally.
I don't
So
think Luca's very good. I think he's big and he's a load. He's a lot to deal with. But I mean, you have Colombo still, right? You haven't sold him, right?
I can't remember. I think Colombo is on.
He's on Empoli, but he's been playing well.
I don't know if it was like a loan. I think it was a purchase with a buyback. I know that we have something with him though. But yeah, I mean Colombo is solid. Milan does tend to like that point man style. Like they did a lot better with Giroud. But the thing is, you
Yeah,
need motion. Now, if you have Pulisic, you have Leao, you've got Reinders, you're gonna have motion. So they're gonna be okay. So I think Luca would work in that system.
yeah.
But if you're more stagnant, then he's not gonna work in that because it's not the guy you want for it. But they've got some links. Luca Colomwani. I mean, they're not bad links. That's for sure.
No, those are good
It's
links.
disappointing that Abraham hasn't really worked out the way that they thought. I know he was a stopgap signing, but he's just having problems bearing. He does a lot of good link up play. He's a smart player for sure. He knows how to use his body. He just doesn't score when you need him to, and that's the most important thing for a striker. So,
Yeah, you got
um,
to put the ball in the net, baby.
last thing for Milan would probably be actually, two more things. One more would be the renewal of Teo. That's kind of up in the air. More links right now say that he's going to renew and he wants to, but we will see. So there'll be updates on that. This one will help us go into Juve. So you kind of take it after I introduce this one, but they're thinking about swapping Tomori. Were there any players looking at coming across for Milan? Because I don't know who they're thinking of, or if it's just going to be a straight purchase. If I was Milan, I would try and go get Fagioli because he's on the way out. That would be a great option in my opinion. Somebody who's on the way up, and then Tomori can go across. But yeah, I don't know. What have you heard about that? About the Tomori links?
Oh, I mean, well, Giuntoli is doing his best to destroy the club. Well, he's already sold off our entire future in terms of our next gen, and a couple more pieces of that puzzle left to sell. So Bangula, Bang Bang, he's on the chopping block. That's a player that could
They're
go
just selling
domestically.
every single one of their
Yeah,
next gen players who are good. Hoysen's
yeah,
out, and that guy's looking like a stud.
yeah,
He's always looked good though. I mean, I think that you're the first person to introduce me to that guy, Dean Hoysen.
yeah.
And you're like, he just looks so mature as a kid, and that was going to be like the guy. Now look, they sell him, and he's immediately performing elsewhere. So
I mean, if you can't see that guy had something special, then you're blind. And it's really frightening when a guy that's all he does for his job all day, every day, can't see it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a bunch of bullshit about like, oh, he needed to sell, to cover, to cover the 50 million.
Oh, there's
Like the
always other things you can do. You don't have to sell
bullshit.
your kids off
Yeah,
who are gonna be like the
yeah.
biggest stars out there. So
But so literally, the two guys on the chopping block are Bangula and Fagioli, and with I think you know that leaves only Savona left out of our next gen guys. So Savona's probably gone
yeah,
because
he'll be gone in a year. Yeah.
yeah, he'll be gone next year because
Yeah,
we got
he's just
Kalulu.
rising his value right now. All he's
Yeah,
doing right now is just rising his value for them to
yeah.
sell. Yeah,
So we're
no
selling
joke.
off our any players with any potential, and we're going to be bringing in a bunch of overpriced average players. So, which average player is the best? Well, there's Tomori. That's an option. We can link him back up with Kalulu, and neither of those players have been the same. And I would predict with Tomori, Kalulu, Gatti, and Bremer that probably be the dumbest defense in all of Serie A. That's a bold statement, but it's up there. It's definitely part of. You can have an argument about it. Um, if not
Aren't there links
Tomori,
with Raspadori
oh
and Fagioli going the other way? Since
yeah,
I mean
yeah.
Raspadori is kind of like the bargaining chip for Napoli, regardless.
Well, the only Italian player that Giuntoli likes is Raspadori, which is incredibly shocking because he's out of all the Italian players I would want, he'd be the last on my list. I don't know what Raspadori is incredibly skillful. He has the ability to do a lot better, but he is just never has. And some guys got it, some guys don't. He doesn't, and he has no reason not to. He can't earn
Yeah, I
his
mean he's
spot
not
on a
bad.
team.
He's just not. I don't think he's gonna get to that next level, which is the whole point that you'd want to sign him.
Yeah, no, I mean, and where's he gonna play? I mean, where's he gonna play at Juventus? On the wing? He's not a winger.
That'd be terrible. No, he's
Yeah,
definitely a second striker for sure. I don't think
yeah.
he belongs anywhere else.
Well, they're talking about maybe playing him as a striker. I go, no, no, he's not gonna do anything up there.
Well,
Come
he'd be a
on.
terrible false nine
Yeah,
because
he's
he can't really play with his back to goal very well. So like,
no.
how are you gonna have him come back and like just distribute play and be a false nine? I think that's a bad idea.
His best position is in the hole as a trequartista, and that's saying a lot because he's not very good at that. Anyways, but that's his best spot.
Yeah, like that or like a second striker
Yeah.
next to somebody paired up. Yeah.
But if that means that we get Raspadori and Fagioli goes to Napoli, I'd be very happy for Napoli and very happy for Fagioli because if Conte wants Fagioli, that means Fagioli is going to get an opportunity to play for one of the best coaches at developing young Italian talent. I mean, there's been a ton of good young Italian players that he has nurtured at his time in Juventus and Inter, and you could even see Buongiorno taking the next step with how he's doing.
Yeah.
With what he's doing at
I guess
Napoli. So,
looking at it from like take off like the Juve and Milan glasses that that we have, looking at it from an overall perspective of Serie A and promoting like the young Italian talents, I think it's actually a beneficial move for
yeah,
Fagioli to go across. He's gonna probably get a lot better. He's gonna grow like he probably wouldn't be able to grow at Juve, and he actually has a shot at becoming a very very good player because he's one of the more promising youths out there. So yeah, objectively, it's a great move for Serie A and for the national team if he leaves for Napoli.
yeah, I think it's the right move for Fagioli, and I would encourage. I mean, we're not going to win anything with this team anyways, so I mean, hey, why not just get if Fagioli's got to go somewhere? I'd like to see him go someplace that's going to strengthen an Italian club, so that it makes Italy stronger, and I want him to just go to a coach that's going to actually play him and help him develop. So I think it's the ultimate move. And Danilo. So there's something going on too because Danilo is signed for Napoli. He's agreed to terms with them, and it
Oh,
looks like
they're that far already?
yeah, they're that far, and that so Napoli's going to sign him on a free, and then Juventus is going to terminate his contract so Napoli can do it. So there's something else that's going to go on there. That's why I think this Raspadori Fagioli thing might actually go down because why would you just give someone a player for absolutely no reason? There's, I mean, if you're going to do that, you could have at least got 5 million. I know it's not worth much, but like you could have got something out of the deal. So just going to literally terminate his contract and give him a Napoli. So that's got to be part of a bigger,
Yeah, there
a
could be
bigger
something
story.
else on the
Yeah,
books there.
yeah. But I mean, Juventus is linked with a lot of people, especially in defense. There's Tomori, there's Antonio Silva, there's Hanko. So those
Yeah,
three
they're linked with a lot
players,
of. Aren't they all worth like 30 mil or something like that? So they're
yeah,
gonna be
30
spending
to
a ton
40
of
mil.
cash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
They're all
Huston was free.
he was 15. Yeah, we didn't have to pay a dime for him either, and he was on a small salary. But I digress. That those are three completely average players. They're all of a very similar profile. Tomori's different, I suppose. Hanko and Silva are both big and gumpy. Hanko's a little bit more athletic than Silva, but they're both incredibly mistake prone totally average players, and
Yeah,
that
maybe of that bunch, Tomori's probably the best because I mean he could probably
yeah.
pair well with Gatti, but it would be a very risky defense though.
Uh,
They would you wouldn't have any controlled presence in that team there on the defense.
no, yeah, you have nobody there who actually understands
Super
positional.
aggressive,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
no control though.
All of our defenders would have the same profile, of aggressive, dumb, positionally unsound. So I would at least like to have, if that player exists, somebody who's got a little bit of a brain on him. But doesn't look like we're looking at players like that. But yeah, I think Tomori would probably be the safest option out of all of them. Even though I don't, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's been in Serie A for years as well, so
uh,
he'd definitely be the safest option.
it's going to be a totally mistake-prone defense. I mean, Hako might be the best actual defender, but I mean, you're comparing turds here. They're not. He's not going to make a big sweeping change to your defense, and he's going to cost you 30 million. I mean, how
There is a lot.
mitigating.
I wonder like where you is gonna get this money. I mean, if they're gonna be if they think about swapping Fagioli and not selling him, where are they gonna get this cash? I mean, like this,
Well,
and then they still have a lot of these loans to redeem and pay on at the end of the
exactly.
year. That there's a I don't know how they're gonna spend cash right now. It's kind of crazy. I know that they own their own stadium, but I mean, it seems like
Yeah,
they're gonna be out a lot, especially if the season doesn't go well for them.
we don't have. It's a horrible. Giuntoli is, if he's not doing it on purpose, and he really is this dumb, then that's very frightening.
Then he's got a
Because
massive ego. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
it's
I
a
don't
big
think he's
ego.
done good.
We owe $80 million next summer in loan obligations and options. So
Yeah.
the two guys on options are Kalulu and Conceição, and the
Which
two
does
guys
tell
on.
you he's probably going to sell somebody, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why Fagioli's getting sold. But the thing is, like,
Maybe
he's not.
Vlahovic too
Yeah,
next year.
Vlahovic is definitely not sticking around. He might even
Because
try to sell him in
he can
January.
hit.
Because like if you're
Just because I mean that would
Vlahovic,
be the next person, right? To kind of clear up some cap room for them.
yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't even, the cap room doesn't even matter. But like if you don't sell, his contract's up in a year. If you get rid of him now, you get something for him. You know. But
Oh, his contract is up next summer.
in 2026, no. So he's on his last year in his
Okay,
contract.
so they've got to sell him now, or they got to
Yes.
sell him summer. Those are the last two shots.
And the
Because
problem
in
is you're
January he's free.
Yes, you're not, every single transfer window that goes by, his value goes down because of that. Because why would a
Of
team,
course.
they just wait a year
Yeah.
and get him for free? Why would they?
Exactly. They just negotiate with him.
Yeah. So like, hey, I'm gonna give you 30 for him, or else we're gonna let him go to free agency and get nothing. So this is another, if they didn't want Vlahovic, they should have got rid of him last summer, but they wanted to sell off our all our youth products. So this is where you gotta have a plan if you're a sporting director, and
This
I
would be a
could
very
see it.
interesting Mercato. Interesting
Yeah,
Mercato for you for sure.
yeah, they're like the ones making the most noise right now because their team's so bad, and they spent
Yeah.
175 million with 80 million more in loans to go, and they have holes. I mean, we haven't even we haven't talked strikers yet.
Yeah, you
So
guys got the most stuff going on there.
yeah,
Milan has the most linked. Even Chiesa has linked back there, but that will never happen because of his salary. So, but I guess let's go Atalanta. I haven't heard much noise there.
no.
Inter
Inter's
just
Nico
pause, right?
Paz. Yeah, Nico Paz, and they're
I
I
would like
think
to see that. He's a good player.
yeah, and I think from here on out you're gonna see them start to kind of inject with a little more youth
Yeah, yeah. And
because
Inter has to do that. Maybe like 1 to 2 signings a season. I don't
yep,
think they're ever going to do an overhaul because Beppe is not a dumb sporting director. I think he's going to just piece in a couple guys here and there, maybe some guys on freeze, maybe some young promising talents like Paz. And I think he's got it figured out. They got a wonderful system. You just keep replacing players who are kind of at the end of their cycle and bringing the new. I think that's all you got to do with this team right now.
no, absolutely, yeah, and no one better than Beppe to do a nice controlled burn on that. He's gonna leak some new, young, fresh talent in there. They got some really good Primavera player, next gen players too. They got both the Espositos there, Pio
Yeah.
and Sebastiano. They're both looking really good already. So that's already looking up for them because people have been asking for Pio for like all year, and they keep denying any advance towards him. They're like, no, he's our guy for the future. So he's only 19. He's looking outstanding. So I don't
Well,
see them making any major moves, just making slow little drips. But I am curious what Napoli's going to do because they're in a title fight. They have zero depth right now, and Buongiorno's down until February, which is a huge hit. You
yeah,
know,
Napoli's going to be interesting. I mean, we talked about them in concordance with other teams and kind of seeing what type of bargaining chips they may or may not use. But is there anybody I guess this would be kind of the last team before we wrap it up here. Is there anybody who they're just straight up linked with?
Uh, well, Chiesa's a new one. Luis Felipe's a free transfer. He's in Saudi Arabia right now.
Yeah,
Danilo's looks like that's going to happen, which means if that
hmm
happens, I think they're going to see something with Fagioli. I think something's going to happen with Fagioli and
double
Raspadori.
swap, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I think they're gonna spit swap those two. I don't know who else there. There's some links to that guy from Acid Village on Duran, Bonnie, Lorenzo Lucca. They signed Luis Hassa, was a Juventus next gen guy. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing too many things that I'm 100% confident on, but I know something's got to happen. If we're just giving away Danilo, there's got to be something else, deeper
Yeah,
there. But
it's I guess like a precursor to something else.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
they
guess
definitely need a striker.
when does the actual market open?
January 1st, right? Three
Typically,
days.
so I just want to check here. January market.
Yeah, just curious to see what
It
Conti
starts on
asks for.
January 2nd. So January 2nd and then closes on February 3rd.
Hmm.
That's what they say. So all right, so we got
Yeah, I think
Thursday, January 2nd. We might see some news. So in about a little less than a week from now.
yeah, Napoli are going to sign probably one or two center backs. That's going to be their main thing. They need a midfielder and they need a striker. And Dorgu has been someone that I think Conti wants really bad. He's was whispering in his ear after the match, little sweet nothings. But I think that that's going to be a summer move, unfortunately, and I think we're going to see Napoli go back to a three-man back line once he gets his proper wing backs. But
Yeah,
that
I mean,
Dorgu's a
if you get
beast.
Dorgo in, yeah. So if you get Dorgo in, right? If you get Fagioli for midfield, you get Danilo just as like a stopgap for defense until you're able to bring back Buongiorno. Then maybe that's what we're gonna see from them.
I mean, I would be very scared if I'm a Napoli supporter and I've got Danilo coming in to take over central defensive responsibilities. He is ass at that. But he's had a couple of decent games with us as a right back, left back. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's just there for his leadership, and he's Juventus captain for the past few years too. So I mean, he's just a good veteran presence to have. I think for a
Yeah.
team that really lacked it last year,
I
it's a
think if
pretty.
somebody's gonna get quality out of him for half season, it's probably gonna be Conte. So
Oh, there's no one better.
I would be very confident that he'd be able to do it. I mean, he's got a good persona. I think that he'd be able to work well enough under Conte to make some good stuff happen.
Yeah, he's not gonna. He's gonna put his head down and work.
Yeah,
That's
and he
for sure.
definitely won't be a problem in the locker room. It'll probably
No.
actually help it out. So be a good presence. He's been in Serie A for a long time, so
Yeah, he's really popular with the guys in the locker room, snapping the towels at everybody and everything. So it's
yeah,
a big
he's got the best
plus.
snap.
Yeah, he's got a real good snap and giggle, and all the other
Yeah.
players love him for it. Yeah, yeah, that's his claim to
Um,
fame. I think that's about it, man.
it
That's
could be.
we kind of ran through them.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
start though. There's a
yeah,
lot of stuff already just pre Mercato. So maybe we'll do something in about a week or so. See where things are lying. In a week, it will be open. So we'll kind of
yeah,
see where everything's lying at that point
yeah.
and come back. So
Let's do a mid market
yeah,
assessment. I think.
we might do like a once a week thing. We'll see. We'll see how schedules pan out. But whoever is listening, thank you for joining, and we'll be back soon. I'm Michael. Here's
Yeah.
Anthony.
See you guys.
Thanks everyone. Forza Calcio. Ciao.